If you guys are looking to figure out how to either grow your business to a million or get it to the next million, this is what this call is for. Kate and I started this call specifically 93 weeks ago when we started our second location down in Mesa, Arizona. And yeah, that location started with zero clients, started with zero freaking Google reviews. And this week, it got a PR. First off, before we share what a PR is, does anyone know what a PR is? Put in the chat if you guys know what a PR is. What is a PR? Sometimes I speak acronyms that people don't even know what those things are. PR, personal record. Thank you, Kristen and Spencer. It's a personal record. What does that mean? It means it's the best we've ever done before, right? It's the best we've ever done. And so in the 93 weeks of Mesa 5-star cleaning, it hit the best weekly revenue it's ever done. Katie, what was that weekly revenue?
498. We'll call it 23,500.
$23,500 in a week, which is pretty cool considering that I remember our very first clean. Katie, do you remember our very first clean? You probably remember the very first clean better than I do.
I remember the house better than you do. You remember the sale. I remember the house. It's great.
I remember the sale. I remember the sale. Yeah. Katie was there. That's why Katie remembers it so well, because she was there, guys. Like Katie did the did. She did the do, right? She went and cleaned the house, and yeah, I remember doing the sale. And if you guys want to know the script I used to get the person on a phone call, it's actually something that I provide in the free school, the free home cleaning courses group. There's a module called 10 steps to add $10,000. Actually, I think it's 10 steps to add 10K is what it's actually called. And in there, I have a script on how you use this right here, you guys' phones, to do network marketing, right? And you reach out to everybody in your phone and you say, I just started a cleaning business. Curious if you or anyone you know has a dirty home that you would like a deeply discounted clean. And if you send that message to people in your phone, somebody will say, I'm interested. Tell me more. And then there you go. That's how you can get your first couple clients. And that's exactly what we did. We used our existing network that we had down here in Arizona, which wasn't a very big, but we definitely utilizes the few people who we knew. And we just reached out to every single person who was in this area who could possibly get a cleaning. That's how we started that. And it wasn't until like 2 or 3 weeks in that we actually started using Facebook ads, which is something that is our primary source of getting leads. But we started out by doing it the old-fashioned way, which is who do we know? And let's talk to people we know because they trust us the most, and let's ask them to give us money. And they said yes. Yeah, Julia just said in the chat she used that text. It works. It does work. It works very well. And that's how it started to go. 93 weeks ago, we started with one clean at $400. And this week, Katie, how many cleans did you do this week?
I did 0 cleans.
Awesome. Yeah. And I did 0 sales this week. And because of those two things is the reason why that business continues to grow. It's because it doesn't need Katie and I's attention. And so while that business did 23,000, our very first business, the business we started before that, is in Montana. And do you know what that business did this week, Katie? Just out of curiosity.
I was going to pull it up, but my computer's not moving fast enough.
Cool.
I think it's close to 30, but let me go find it.
Yeah. So as Katie pulls that number up, yeah, we started that first business in October of 2020. So it's been just a little over 5 years. We started that business, and it started out with this guy that's talking, doing the selling, and that girl who's looking up numbers, doing the cleaning. And the first couple cleans, we have some stories for that one too, if you guys haven't heard those. But yeah, it started out by us, me selling deep cleans for $200, $300, and Katie working all day and doing such a good job that the client decided they weren't even going to pay for their cleaning because that's how good we were. And that's how the first location started. And what did that location do, Katie? Just out of curiosity.
28,500.
So that location did 28,500 last week. How many cleans did you do? How many cleans did you make the jaunt from Arizona to Montana to do?
Yeah, 0.
Yeah. And I didn't do any sales either. And yeah, so it's cool. So between those two locations, 28, 23, what is that? 51,000 last week?
51.
Yeah. But we also have a third location, guys. So if you guys didn't know this, about a month ago, actually exactly a month ago, we bought a location. We actually bought somebody who's actually inside of our community, someone who we helped them start their business. That was Tyler and Kellen Stowers. And they literally flew out to Arizona about 2 years ago, and yeah, I convinced them to start this cleaning business, and 2 years later, yeah, they gave us an opportunity to let us buy it from them, and then also them continue to work in the business, which is super exciting because Kellen's Kellen is one of those people who just like has lots of raw talent, and with additional resources, and also just like being able to just have her focus on the highest skilled things in the business. I'm like, this is going to be another $1 million business. And that business actually got a PR this week. Katie, do you know what that business did last week?
I do. 13.7.
Yeah, so 13,700, which was a PR for it as well. And so if you can do a little math, Katie, what is 23? Let's just round it. 23.5. What did you say closing was?
28.5.
28.5 plus, I guess let's go 13.
13.7 is 65,700.
Cool. Yeah. So last week our business did $65,000. And the reason that they were able to do $65,000 in a week is because Katie and I were not cleaning, we're selling, we're hiring. And in fact, like that is the only way you guys are able to grow a business that gets that big is by you doing less. Sequence is the key. In order for you to even have the opportunity for you to do less, you must do more, a lot more. And so the problem that people see today is they see Katie and I not doing these things. But what you didn't see, that's what I'm, that is the part I want to express is you guys didn't see all the do that we did do for a very long time to learn how to clean, how to sell, how to hire, how to do the do, as Katie would say. And we did that first. And then we just decided we wanted to learn the next skill. We were willing to sacrifice the next skill of actually teaching, which some of you guys are in the situation, like Julia as an example, where she's now in the situation where she's learning to teach the do. And once you guys put yourself in a situation, like right now, everyone who's doing, they want to be teaching. But everyone who's teaching wants to be doing. Because what you're doing right now is hard because you are not good at it. Because you don't have the reps. And also, like, especially as you get good at doing, and then you have to transition to being a teacher, which you're not as good at, like human nature, we want to continue to do things that we're good at. But the business requires you to actually do things that you're bad at. And that's what your job, I shouldn't say this, the business requires you to do things bad at, the business requires you to learn things that you're currently bad at because that's what the business needs to continue to grow. I listened to this one little snippet of a podcast that Elon Musk was talking about, and he made it very simple. He's like, the business owner's job is to solve the business's toughest problem. It's to focus on the thing that nobody else has the capacity or the desire to do, which is solve the business's hardest problem. And when he said that, I was like, okay, that's actually great advice. Obviously, coming from somebody who is the CEO of $5 billion companies. Not just one, not just two, not just three, but I think he's the CEO of $5 billion companies, which is like astronomical to be CEO of one of those things, but five. And that's what he sees his job as, like, is the person who just solves the hardest problem in the business. And so a lot of you guys are like, this is hard. Yeah, like that's your job, is to solve the hardest problem. But you can't continue, like, once you solve the problem, then you must give that to somebody else, and then you must go solve the next problem. And that is the part where I think people eventually end up stopping, or they struggle with, is that they're like, okay, I've solved enough problems. Now I just want to, like, continue to do things I'm good at. And you can make that choice, but the business will then eventually stop growing. And so the reason I shared all that with you guys is that exactly 12 years ago yesterday, I actually started my first business. 12 years ago, December 14th, 2013. I walked into my little 800 square foot gym for the very first time, and it was just me and a couple clients. And I had no business plan, no marketing plan, no sales plan, no bookkeeping, no accounting, just I'm in business. I actually think that naiveness is what actually kept me in business for as long as it did. for about 3 years. I didn't really understand what business actually was. I just was like, I just wanted to help. I wanted to help. I wanted to serve. I wanted to serve my clients. And I just thought that starting my own gym was the best path in order for me to help my current clients at the time. And I think what Katie and I have realized with our team, the reason that our business was able to do $65,000 last week without Katie and I being part of the operations is because of the people who are actually running the business, the Elias, the Kazayas, and the Kellens. And one of the things that we realized is that while those three people are very different people, the thing that they all have in common is that they're willing to sacrifice their needs and put clients and cleaners and others above themselves. And I think that is a trait that I look for, is like the willingness to serve, the willing to put other people's needs in front of your own. And that is a great foundation to start from. And I think it's the only thing that kept me in business in the beginning, when I had no plan and I had no skills, and I made no more than $5,000 a month for 3 years. How many of you guys in here make more than $5,000 a month?
Top line.
Yeah. Imagine not doing that for 156 weeks in a row. Like, you could not break that mark. It's tough. It's tough. And I think the only thing that kept me in the game was just, I was naive. I didn't know that I needed to have a business plan, a marketing plan. I didn't know that I was that bad, in all fairness. I didn't know it was that bad. And so what I want to share with you guys today is 12 lessons that I have taken over the last 12 years that hopefully for you guys can learn these things in a much shorter time frame. And you guys don't have to repeat the same silly mistakes that I made. And you guys can actually just make better mistakes, because ultimately making a million mistakes is the requirement to make $1 million. However, you can make different mistakes than I made. You can have your baselines, instead of being here, it can be here. And if it's there, it won't take you 10 years to get to $1 million. That's how long it took me, guys. It took me 10 years to get our first $1 million business. And so while everyone sees us moving really fast now, they didn't see the decade that it took to get here. And so it doesn't need to take you guys 10 years to get there. So like Julia, as an example, she's going to get there in about 1.5 years. She's going to go from literally starting her very first business to creating an actual $1 million business. I just looked at her books today. She's done $830,000 in the last 12 months. By the next 3 or 4 months, she will actually have a true trailing $12 million business in less than 2 years. Crazy. Yeah. And so I want to share with you guys some of the lessons that she gets to learn every single week in our one-on-ones, and some of the things that our team gets to experience every single week as well. And it's the reason why they're growing is because they don't have to go through the same mistakes that I did. And I want you guys to be able to have that opportunity as well. So without further ado, you guys ready for lesson number one? Lesson number one. Cool. Katie, what is lesson number one?
Yeah, lesson number one is your bank account is your scorecard,
Yeah.
your report card, maybe.
Yeah. I used to think that just owning a business meant I was successful. And it was funny because even like when I started my business, guys, and it was in December of 2013, like I met Katie in March of 2014. So literally 2 months later, I met Katie. And I remember like feeling I had status because I had a business. And I just remember like thinking that like I was already successful because I made the decision to start a business. And it just wasn't true. Like there were so many things about those first 3 years that were not true. And so what makes you successful is your bank account. Like that's actually how you know, that is your scoreboard. That is your report card, as Katie said. Okay. If it's closer to 0 than it is to $1 million, you're not successful. Okay. And so understand that like that is how you measure. And most people, the reason why I want to stress this is because I remember myself in this situation. It was like, because I thought I was successful, I was not willing to do the shameful things. I wasn't willing to do the thing required in order to actually become successful. I fronted. Like I put a front up that I was already successful. I'm good. Or being afraid to say that you're not good because you think that you should already be at $1 million. You should already have $1 million in the bank. You should already be $1 million business. You just started. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And so realizing that your goal when you first get started is get your bank account as far away from zero as you possibly can.
In the upward trajectory.
Good point, Katie. Good point. Yes. Right. That's how you know you're winning. That's how you know you're winning. Lesson number 2, Katie.
Sales isn't sleazy, it is serving.
So even before I started my first business, I was a personal trainer at a gym. And so personal training is basically like being a commission-only salesperson. Like I only got paid for what I trained. And so I remember working very hard. Like little back history on this. I worked for 6 months as an intern for free at a gym in a high school just to get the opportunity to be able to get paid $7 an hour to get a front desk job at this gym that I was trying to work at. But it was through that 6 months of interning for free and then getting paid $7 an hour to be a front desk kid at the gym is where I built a relationship with the fitness director. His name was Josh Palmer, where when a job came opened and it was between me and actually like 3 of my classmates who had just graduated, which by the way, all 3 of those people had much better grades than I did. They were all getting ready to go to physical therapy school. I got the job because I just sacrificed. I put myself in a situation and Josh just knew who I was. Like he just trusted me more than he trusted those guys. And so I remember him giving me the job. And then one of the very first days, I remember walking to his little office and he handed me a book. And I don't remember what the book was called, but it was a sales book. And I was like, what is this? He's like, it's a book on sales. I was like, dude, like I'm a personal trainer. Like I'm not a salesman. Like I'm here to help people, not to sell them. And I remember having that conversation and he just kind of laughed at me. It took me 12 years, but like now I realize that selling is serving. Like if you're in business, like you're in sales, right? And it's not just about monetary either. Like I sell my wife every single day that like I'm the man for her. Like I'm the person for her. I can help her reach her goals. Okay. I sell my team every single day is like, hey, like I'm the one who can help you chase your goals. Like, let me be the one who guides you, let me be your mentor, let me be your guide. Let me help you get fulfillment from work and help you like hit your financial goals. Right. I sell you guys every single day. Like you guys can actually build $1 million businesses. You can also replicate this success as well. And those skills all started with me first learning how to sell a service. One of my mentors and friends, he once told me the transformation is in the transaction. And the bigger the transaction, the bigger the transformation. And so if you guys want to build $1 million businesses, you got to have the conviction to sell. You got to believe in what you're selling. Okay. In the beginning, it's you first selling clients on service. And then it's you selling cleaners on serving clients. And then it's on you selling office staff on selling clients and serving cleaners. And that's the path to $1 million is through selling. Okay. Okay. Anything you want to add to that?
No, it's not selling, it's serving. That's the only thing. It truly is helping people, which is ultimately what you wanted to do anyways. You just needed to tie a frame behind it that by selling people, you are serving them. By serving people, you are selling them.
So as a skill set, it's the domino skill. If you guys can, number one, get sold on you becoming a salesperson, you loving selling, you seeing selling as serving, you seeing selling as helping, it's the thing that will actually allow your business to grow, because quite literally, like the only way the business grows is through new money coming in the business. Like $1 million business, guys, it requires new sales. So lesson number 3, Katie. What's lesson number 3?
Business owners get paid last at first.
Yeah. I think this is the biggest struggle is that people who are new to business, naive business owners, um, they struggle because they actually build the business for themselves. They actually start their business because they're solving a them problem. But million-dollar businesses, they solve problems for others and to other people particularly. Who's number one, Kitty?
Clients.
Clients. Guys, the clients don't care about you. Sorry, they don't. They don't care about your personal needs. They don't care about your kids. They don't care about how hard you work. They do not care. And for you to want them to care is it's upsetting because they don't. And I think that's the biggest frustration that I remember having as a new entrepreneur, and that I constantly see with new entrepreneurs is that that the business owners expect the clients to actually care about you, and they don't. Nor should they, by the way, nor do they have to. Okay. And you still have to figure out how to serve them, even though they don't care about you. And that's what makes business hard. Now, once you're able to serve clients, okay, who's the second avatar that you have to learn how to serve? Yeah. You got to figure out how to serve the people who are then going to serve the clients. Right? And again, they don't care about your business. They don't care about how hard you work. They don't care that you didn't get paid and they do get paid. They don't care. And that's okay. They don't need to care. It's not their job to care. And the reality is that like you as a business owner, you don't get paid, you don't get rewarded until both the clients and the staff, the cleaners in the situation, get rewarded first. And that's why most people quit. It's because they want rewards before they take on the responsibility of caring about those two avatars. And so understand that when you get the sequence right, when you serve people first, then you can get rewarded. And it's also one of the reasons that there is a potential big reward on the back end. But this is also why building a business is so rare. It's because most people don't have the vision and not willing to actually give without ever receiving.
This is also why, despite the differences between the three operators that we have in our three locations, they're very different people. They have very different character traits about them, but the one underlying character trait is that they're here to serve first. And by serving first, it keeps the spotlight on the clients that they're talking to, which ultimately builds rapport and increases their efficiency in sales. And they care about their team members, which ultimately keeps people on the team longer, which gives them opportunities to fill their schedules. Then they are rewarded. Serving first.
Lesson number 4. This one's a good one. This one is a good one. Okay, what's this one? I wish I would have learned this one a lot sooner.
And me too. Sometimes I still have to remind myself that I'm learning this one every day. So you must watch what people do, not what they say. Listen to their actions, not their words.
Yeah. So, like when you guys have clients or prospects who give you excuses or reasons why they didn't sign up, like it doesn't matter. They're just not sold, and that's on you.
How
When
many of
you
you
have,
guys have sold somebody
yeah,
and thought they are calling back? They are totally gonna book.
yeah, totally, totally, yeah. Trying to remember some of my first couple fitness clients. I was like, oh man, she's definitely calling back. She was like, for sure, I'm gonna call back. And then I never heard from her again. Right? A lot of clients like that. Yeah, employees will tell you that they love it here, but they got to leave. Right? They don't really love it there. Your work situation isn't that good. Some of you guys are just like, I want to grow $1 million businesses, but your actions show that you would rather be comfortable. You'd rather not work on the weekends. You'd rather go to your kids' soccer games. You'd rather not get told no 100 times. Like, yes, I mean, you say you want to grow, but like your actions are showing otherwise. Right? And so whether it's your teammates, whether it's your peers, like the best thing you guys can do when you guys are trying to understand what someone prioritizes is like watch what they do. Watch where they spend their resources, time and money. Like that's what they prioritize. Okay. And so like when people show you who they are, believe them.
I think this is a great one for life in general, not even just business, but like if your spouse tells you, I'm going to go drastic here, but if your spouse tells you that they love you and they want to be monogamous to you, but they're at the strip club every night, like, are you going to believe what they say or are you going to believe their actions? It actually simplifies the process for me personally if I only look at what they do rather than what they say. I get less emotional.
Yeah. And to make this into like a practical example of cleaners, like you guys have probably faced this most with cleaners. Like cleaners will tell you they want to be here, and then you just need to make sure that they're aware of like they're showing you otherwise. And you need to confront it and make sure that they understand that like yes, you say you want to be here. However, like you're sleeping in, you're showing up late, you're getting bad reviews, your teammates don't want to work with you because you're on your phone. Like so like sometimes you guys need to point them out and make them aware of that so that way they also understand how they're getting graded, how they're getting how you are determining whether they want to be here or not, and then letting them know like I'm judging you, I'm grading you based on what you do and the feedback I get from clients and cleaners. More than I'm listening to the words you're saying because you say that you want to be here. However, these are your actions, and so the more that you guys can confront that in this example and help people understand that like this is how they're getting graded, then it gives them an opportunity to actually change their behaviors. Because sometimes people like they're just unaware that their words and their actions are out of alignment. And it's your job just to help them become in alignment. It doesn't matter which way it goes. It's like, hey, like if you don't want to be here, cool. Then like, let's not be here. But if you do want to be here, then align your actions with what you're saying right now is that you want to be here. So,
I think this one's really important in the early days for entrepreneurs who are just starting out to also align your own actions with
mm,
the outcomes that you are facing. Like be the leader to go first. So then when you do confront a team member for not wanting to be there and having a misalignment, you have been through this. You have
yeah,
once been in misalignment, but now you have aligned your actions with your words as well.
probably the most important thing you can do. I think about this from what I try to focus on is like I try like if I didn't have to say anything, would my team still know what I actually valued and prioritized? If I didn't have to like tell them anything, they could just watch me. Would they know what my priorities were in life? And so sometimes it's just coming from a different, it's just you seeing it as a frame as like, okay, what can you do to get better? What do you need to do to make sure that your actions and your words are in alignment, which then makes it easier for you to be aware of other people's and be able to help them and coach them and confront them. So awesome. Okay. Let's move on to lesson number 5, Katie. What is lesson number 5 of the 12 lessons that we've learned over the last 12 years of being in business?
You aren't smarter than the system.
Yeah. I'm going to be yelling at some of you guys today. Some of you guys are new on here, which is awesome. I love it. Like I'm yelling at you guys, which is again, Logan 12 years ago. And so the first stage of entrepreneurship is uninformed optimism. I'm going to be rich. I'm so smart. I'm so good. There's no way I can't do this. The reality, there's a 0% chance that you're going to build $1 million business with what you currently know or your current skill sets or your current resources. And the reason why I struggled for my first 3 years is because I literally thought I was smarter than I was. I thought I was better. I thought I could figure it out. I just thought that like energy, effort, and grit was enough. It's 100% not, right? It wasn't until I actually got a system. And then I said, you know what? I'm not smarter. I need to find someone who is smart and I need to figure out how to get my hands on something that actually has been proven to work, a system. And that was my first like taste of success in entrepreneurship was giving somebody all the money I had at the time and them giving me back a system and also helping me implement the system, right? And that was in 2017. So that was what, 8 years ago? It was 8 years ago. And so it's now 8 years later that I realize like how important actually having a business system is to the growth of a business. And I was sharing with you guys earlier that between our 3 businesses that we did $65,000 in revenue last week, which is over 250 cleans in 1 week. We have over 50 full-time employees. Like we don't do part-time, we only do full-time. 50 full-time employees. And I think the biggest thing that I can stress to people specifically who are inside the mentorship, which is a lot of you guys, like you are not smart in the system. Like, quit trying to change things or modify them. Okay. If you keep trying to think you're smart in the system, your bank account will stay closer to zero than it does a million. And that's not what you want, and it's not what I want. Follow the system. Lesson number 6, Katie.
This one's so good. These are all so good. Lesson number 6, if you are looking for the finish line, business is not for you.
Yeah, this is awesome. Katie made this analogy, so I'm gonna totally give her credit for it, but I just stole it from her, which is what I usually do, is I just let her come up with the first version, and I take the second version and I claim all the credit for it. Some of you guys probably don't know this, 'cause I've never talked about this, but like in track, I ran high school. And
No, in high school you ran track.
What did I say? In track,
In
I ran high
track
school?
you ran
Yeah,
high school.
that's funny. In high school, I ran track. Thank you, Katie. And as a sophomore, we actually took third in the state as a team, and my race was the 400. And so, if you guys know what the 400 is, it's just one lap around the track, and it's pretty much an all-out sprint. And how you know you run that race right is you don't feel very good afterwards. So much so that sometimes you puke, sometimes you vomit. Yeah, it was my race. And on the contrary, some of you guys know Julia in here, right? Julia was actually really good at track as well. Her race was actually the 800, which is actually 2 laps around the track. And Julia was actually so good at track that she got inducted into her school's Hall of Fame. It's like really good at track, right? Definitely better than me. But if you guys understand something, is that if Julia would have tried to use my 400 pace during her 800 race, what would have happened to her?
She would have definitely vomited and not been able to finish.
Yeah, not would have made it, right? And if I would have used Julia's 800 pace in my 400, what would have happened?
You would have got last.
Dead last. Exactly, Kristen, exactly. And so understanding that both those races have different paces, right? And so the wrong pace kills more businesses than anything else does. Consistency and persistence and the ability to endure pain wins, not intensity. And there's so many people who I see who try to build $1 million businesses in a week and a month. And after 6 weeks, they're like, why am I not there yet? And that's why entrepreneurship is a short game for most. It's because they have the wrong pace. Because they're trying to run an 800 with a 400 pace. And really, business is a lifetime pace. It's just how do you stay in the game? And so if you guys want $1 million businesses, you must change your pace. Lesson number 7, Katie.
Obsession beats overthinking.
Yeah. Why is it, do you think, that a lot of people spend so much more time analyzing than like actually trying, actually doing? Why do you guys think that is? Why do spend time doing spreadsheets and calculating and doing business plans and trying to forecast rather than just like going and doing? Katie, will you say lesson number 7 again?
Number 7 or number 1?
Number 7.
Obsession beats overthinking.
Yeah. Obsession beats overthinking. Yeah. One of the biggest reasons that people spend more time thinking rather than obsessively doing is because they're afraid of not being perfect. They're afraid of being judged for making mistakes. And perfection is the biggest myth in business. It's literally everything that you're taught in schools to be perfect. A+s are rewarded. A+s are a result of you not missing anything. There's a funny expression, but there's also a lot of truth to it, that A students work for C students. And it's because the C students aren't afraid of making mistakes. Because what C students understand that A students don't is that you actually learn more from making mistakes than you do from just getting everything right. Right? And you guys want to know what else is a myth? And this can be contributed, I think, a lot to a very successful person, which I have a lot of respect for, by the way, which is Mr. Warren Buffett. But he's very famous for one of his rules, or one of his famous sayings is rule number 1, don't lose money. Rule number 2, resort back to rule number 1. However, in business, like, you're gonna lose money. Like, you're gonna lose a lot of money. No way around it, unless you're not gonna do business. Right?
I was going to say, yeah, the smaller the business, the less money you lose. The
Yeah.
larger the business, the more money you lose.
Yeah. So, like, expect to lose money. Expect to look silly. Expect to upset clients, prospects, teammates. Expect to get some bad reviews, guys. Like, it's perfection that stops people from learning than anything else. It's because most people have been taught that mistakes are bad. And that as soon as they start to see things bad, it stops their behavior. It stops them from taking action. But like, how many of you guys know who Cody Sanchez is? She's a, I don't call her a guru, but she's like a influencer, right? She's a business influencer. She actually owns lots of businesses. So definitely somebody who like does the do. And she's got this quote where she talks about her most successful friend, right? She's like, my most successful friend, the reason why he says he's successful is because he's just faster than everybody else is. He's willing to make a decision, or he's willing to make a decision, and he does 4 or 5 different iterations before most people even just pull the trigger to do version number 1. And by the time that he's done 4 or 5 iterations, then he actually learns what actually works and what doesn't work, which allows him to get to his goals faster. And so, guys, these type of crazy people who just like pull the trigger, create fires, like a lot of people call them crazy. But these crazy people, they understand what the perfectly calculated people don't understand, is that success is a result of failing, changing behavior, failing, changing behavior, failing, changing behavior, failing, changing behavior, failing, changing behavior. Oh, that worked. And all of a sudden they look like a genius. How many of you guys have heard? Okay, so right before I got in here, my daughter, she gets homeschooled, and she's got a teacher who's over here. And right now they are learning for history. They're learning about old dead people, right? Old dead people, right? And so today was Theodore Roosevelt. A couple days ago was Benjamin Franklin. And then I think last week sometime also was like Thomas Edison. And so, you guys know who Thomas Edison is? You guys know who that is? What is he famous for? Katie, yeah.
Light bulb.
yeah, so funny. But like, what is he really famous for? Like, what is the story of him creating the light bulb? Yeah, Marcus Small talked about it. Like, that's what he's famous for, is that it like spending thousands, like he spent thousands of I think his quote is like he spent 1,000 ways to figure out how a light bulb didn't work so he could figure out how it actually did work. That's the path, guys. Like, the old dead guys will show you the tried and true path. Plus, failure also gives you something that's really important that most people, like most new entrepreneurs don't understand. I didn't understand this until now, but failure gives you data. And so that actually leads us into lesson number 8. Katie, what's lesson number 8?
Math the path to $1 million.
Yeah. And so,
not emotional math.
Yeah.
Logical math.
We were with Kellen this weekend, Tyler and Kellen. So we went to Sacramento this weekend. And that was one of the things that she talked about, is that sometimes she does some emotional math, which is just like her reasoning to like make decisions that don't make logical sense. And it was good awareness, and we're like, yeah, well, we're gonna do less emotional math and more use actual data as a way to make decisions moving forward. So it's one of the benefits of having a team, having support, not being all on the island by yourself, is that you make less emotional math. You listen to less emotional math and you listen to more actual math, and lo and behold, the business actually gets better when we listen to the actual data rather than the way that we want the data to read. So let's talk about the math map the path to a million. Okay. And so the first step in this whole entire equation is actually understanding the math to a million. How many of you guys actually know the math to a million? Some of you guys probably do. Some of you guys, if you don't, you're going to learn it today. You're going to learn the math. If I would have known this back in the day, I would have got there way faster. And that's one of the reasons, like the Julias, right? I'm like, sorry, Julia, you're the only one who I can see on here. Julia, Kayla. Oh, Kayla's on here too. Kayla's also on a freaking rocket ship right now too. That like some of you guys are growing really fast is because like you see how to get there. And it's not visually seeing it. You see the numbers on how to get there, and you see how to make the numbers go up. And so the first step of how to make numbers go up is you must just understand, like, what does $1 million business look like? Do you guys actually know what $1 million business looks like? I can tell you that this changed for me when we started doing the vision sheet. And the vision sheet we did in what, July of 2022. That's when we created the vision sheet. So it's been a little over 3 years. So it hasn't even been that long. But like this is one of the biggest reasons that Bozeman, like it really grew significantly, is because we actually figured out the math to a million. And so I'm gonna share with you guys this today. So the first step is like, what is the math to a million? 85 cleans with an average revenue per clean of $225. That's the math to a million every single week. 14 cleaners working on average 28 hours is the math to $1 million cleaning business. And really what those two things equate to is $19,000 and $19,200 of revenue every single week. If you do that for 52 weeks in a row, you have $1 million. You have $1 million business. Or if you guys want to do in denominations of months, which is what most people are commonly think of as, if you do $83,000 a month for 12 months, you have $1 million business. 28 assigned hours. So 14 cleaners working on average 28 assigned cleaning hours, which means those 28 hours are paid for by the clients. We do star pay. We actually pay our cleaners based on their production, not just for sitting around no matter how long they work for, which is a whole nother element that we're not going to talk about today. Yes, if you want efficient cleaners and good cleaners, you pay them for their production, not for how many hours they work. That's actually almost all people. Like everyone in business, like Elia's on here, like she gets a base, but like she's heavily incented by how much the business grows. She's incented by like she gets paid more the more the business grows. And so if you can help your cleaners also get paid more the business grows, it's a win-win situation. Okay. So the first step is we must actually understand the math of getting to the goals. But in the second step, what's the second step, Katie, of actually getting to the million? So first off, we got to understand what is the math. We got to have 14 cleaners working on average 28 hours a week, 85 cleans on average that average at least 225 per clean, which gets us to $19,000 a week. And if we do that for 52 weeks, or if we just do $83,000 a month for 12 months, we get to $1 million. So what is the second step to that? Now we have the math. Everybody now has the math. You guys all know the math to get to $1 million. But what stops people from actually getting to $1 million?
Being accountable to the data.
Yeah. You must actually know what your numbers are. And so for you guys who are into the mentorship, if you're first getting started, then like your first step is just to like use the system. That's the first step. Like start to understand how to market, how to sell, how to fulfill, and then eventually how to hire cleaners so you can continue to market and sell. And then once we're using the system, the next step is actually tracking the data so we understand, well, how much are we marketing? How much are we selling? How many cleaners do we have? How many hours are they working?
This is the stepping on the scale section. If we allude this to weight loss. So everybody has a goal weight. I want to weigh 140 pounds. But where am I at right now? This is stepping on the scale and exposing where you're currently at so we can actually take the third step towards reaching the gap between where we're at and what the goal is.
Yeah. I call it stepping on the scale, and I'm a little more drastic than Kim. Like, take your shirt off. Take it off. Let me see it. And let's take pictures. Like, let's see where you're at. Like, are you willing to do that? Also, with business, I'd be like, show me your bank account. Take a screenshot of your bank account. Show me where you're at. Like, this is getting real. This is like getting real with where your business is at. Instead of being like, it's good. Like, I'm good. It's like, show me your data. Show me where your business is at. Be accountable to the data. Okay. And so the first step is like you being accountable to yourself. So like you must go track the data. You must go have the data and realize like, this is where your business is at. And like being okay with it. Like the first time everyone does this, they're like, it's so bad. I'm like, compared to what? Like you labeling it as bad is like you comparing it to what? nice part about numbers, as we talked about earlier, they don't need to be emotional. They don't need to be good or bad. They can just be. They are. They are this. They just is. And so you'll hear me talk about this. Anybody who does vision meetings with me, anybody who I coach one-on-one, like I will always call people out for calling things, like labeling things good or bad, just like they just are. Like they're better than last week. We can say that. Is it better than last week? Cool. Like that's fine. But like nothing is good or bad. It's just a comparison to what we have done before versus where we want to go. Okay. And so, Katie, you talked about this. The third step is the change of the behaviors, is figuring out where we are versus where we want to be. Talk a little bit more about that. What does that mean to actually, like, how do we actually get from where we are to where we want to be?
Yeah, align your actions with the outcomes required to grow your data.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really a nice part about having data, is all of a sudden it shows you what you need to do. And now, are you willing to align your actions? Are you willing to spend more money on marketing? Are you willing to make more phone calls? You're willing to get told no more times, to then eventually have to then go spend more money on cleaner marketing, to go then hire more people to have them tell you no more times. And then you just repeat that process. Okay. And so this is one of the biggest lessons. This is one of the biggest things that has helped me, that helps us today. But I wish I would have known this a long time ago, was like just how important it is to math the path, whether it be to 1 million, to 2 million, to 3 million, whatever sort of million denomination that you can think of, like math the path. All right, Katie, we have 3 more left. 3 more left. And I summarize these last 3 as like, if I were to start over today, like what exactly would I do today? Like these last 3 are coming from that thought process of like, if I had started over 12 years ago, what would I wish if somebody would tell me to do today that I should start doing right now? What's lesson number 9?
Find someone who has what I want.
Yeah, I think this has been like the biggest transformation that I wish I knew 12 years ago, and it's something that I'm so convicted in today. It's one of the reasons that that we still do coaching, is because like I really wanted this for myself. So I feel like through you guys, I get to fulfill that, because I didn't have it for myself, but some of you guys who are just starting businesses, like Julie is a good example. Kayla Holenbeck is a good example. Just like, I'm like, man, like, I'm just so grateful that you guys have this option, because like I didn't have this option. And I'm so grateful that you guys do. And so, yeah, find somebody who has what you want. And in a day and the age where access to the internet and access to resources and access to humans is like easier now than ever has before, it's still very hard to find somebody who actually has what you want. Somebody who's not only is hard to find somebody who has what you want, but somebody who's also willing to help you with it, with what you want. Like those 2 things, very challenging, very hard to do. And one of the reasons that it's important to find somebody who has what you want is because they will just shortcut this process for you. I shouldn't say shortcut, because that seems like it seems like there's a shortcut. Oh, here's what I'll say, is that they will decrease the time that it takes for you to get to 1 million by using their lessons as a way for you to have to learn your own lessons, which are just, again, instead of you starting here, you get to start a little bit higher. But you still have to learn the lessons. You still have to make mistakes. You still have to go through pain. And if you guys want to talk to Julia or Kayla, like Kayla Holenbeck, like they will tell you, like, it's still painful. They still have to learn lessons. They just don't have to learn the exact same lessons that Katie and I had to 12 years ago. They just have to learn, they learn different lessons at a faster rate. And they get to skip some lessons. They don't have to get to skip them. They just get to learn from me. And that's why one of the highest forms of intelligence is learning from somebody else rather than having to learn from yourself.
I think they also can rebound faster from learning the skill.
Yeah. Yeah. You just get quicker feedback cycles, just like talking about, like, you must make mistakes. And so it's like, when you make mistakes, it's like, oh yeah, now just do this. Oh yeah. Like, so a lot of the mistakes that are made is a misinterpretation of the system. It's a misinterpretation of the advice. And it's like, oh, I see why you did that. Yeah, just do this. And they do it, and the very next time they change their behavior and they get the result. Like that's a lot of it. What it comes down to is almost like a misinterpretation of the advice, a misinterpretation of the system, right? And so, yeah. So again, like find somebody who has what you want. If you can find someone who's also helped other people get what they want, that's probably even more important, to be honest with you. But is also willing to help you. Like those are kind of the trifecta. Like if you can find those 3 things, that's a winning combination. And then really there's 2 ways you can learn from that person. You can either choose to work for them, right? So basically they give you money and you learn from them, probably the smartest thing you can ever do. Like I choose that one. Um, but if you don't want to work with that person, then you can just pay that person, so which means you have to have access to money, right? So those are the two ways, because essentially what you do with those two things is you serve that person, because that's really what your goal is. You want to serve that person, the person who has what you want and has helped other people get what they want and is willing to help you. Like the only way they're going to help you is if you help them. You have to serve them. So this is why back to the service thing is so important, is that you have to be willing to serve people, and then not and be okay with not getting served back. And if you come at it with that, if you come at it from that perspective, like you've already won the moment that you signed up to help them, because like all you're trying to do is serve. But if you're always trying to get something, you're trying to get an ROI, like that's when you set yourself up for disappointment. You set yourself up to like be upset with somebody because like that you had an expectation that they didn't even know about, that they didn't meet, which is the reason why most people get upset with other people, is because of unmet, but really it's unsaid, it's unconfronted expectations. And the reason that I say this is because like we just hired another coach last week. We just hired somebody last week, because again, we have goals just like you guys do. I just realized that the shortest distance between me and getting to our goals is paying the person who has the playbook for the playbook itself, but also for the help in implementing the playbook. And as your goals get bigger, so does the price that you must pay in order to access with other people. Because like rich people,
They value their time.
yeah, they value their time, and like, yeah, they just in order for them to want to pay attention, it's got to be worth it. And that was actually the conversation that he said, is like, in order for this to be worth it for me, because like this was me just approaching somebody who doesn't even do one-on-one coaching. I was just like, I want your help. Like you tell me, like I understand like this is the literally pitch. I was like, I understand that if like this is not something you want to do, I understand if it's not a good use of your time, but like I just think you'd be very helpful for us. But I totally understand if it wouldn't be a good use of your time. And because of that, I basically unsold him on asking him to give this. I basically sold him on me being able to give him money. And yeah, he just said, in order for it to make a good sense of my time, like here's what the prices would be. And if you guys are curious, it's over $1,800 an hour. It ain't cheap, but you know what? Like I've already won, because like I'm going to learn, like I'm going to be able to shortcut this entire process that he has spent many years learning, and I'm going to get to go right to the resource. And I just like, I will figure out how to make the ROI in the long term, but like in the short term, I'm just getting like, I'm not having to spend my time, my energy, and 20 years of my life, 12 years of my life, 10 years of my life to learn something that somebody's already done. It's silly. So like I said, that's what I would do when I first started, and that's what I currently am still doing. Lesson number 10. Okay, what's lesson number 10?
Focus on active income.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of people in here who I think will really benefit from this. This is why I put this on there. So like I shared with you guys earlier, like my first 3 years in business didn't make more than $5,000 a month. It's because I didn't know how to make income. I didn't understand how to make income. Didn't have a system, didn't have a process, didn't understand what it took to increase my income. And then once I actually invested in a system and a coach, like that's when my income actually grew to $50,000 a month in revenue, not take home, but in revenue. But because the revenue increased, so did my profit. And so I remember it was 2017 when I made $100,000 of profit for the first time. And I was like, man, I'm rich, right? Like I never even imagined I could make $100,000. Yeah. I was like, cool. Now what? Now I have money. Now I'm making money. Like, what am I gonna do with this money? And I can tell you what I did, which I will tell you guys what I did. And then I'll tell you what advice I would give you guys, is that I used that money to buy passive income, AKA real estate. And, it was one of the silliest decisions I ever made, and it's the reason that my income stays stagnant for so long, is because I spent thousands of hours chasing thousands of dollars of passive income, and it was the reason why my active income didn't grow. And so 3 years ago, we stopped chasing real estate, and we started focusing on active income. And today, like our active income is closer to 1 million than it is 100,000. And it's because we stopped trying to chase this passive income game. We just started focusing on like, how do I use my time? How do I use my resources? How do I use my skill sets in this highest and best use? And so like the reality is that like number one, passive income, Katie, it's not passive, guys.
I was gonna say, ask Chad. How many times have me and Chad been on the phone the last couple of weeks? It
Yeah,
ain't passive.
there's zero passiveness to passive income. So like, just so you guys understand that. And guys, honestly, there's not a lot of margin and there's not a lot of revenue in passive income. Like there just isn't. Okay. You'll make far more money by investing your extra money, not into passive income, like stock market or Bitcoin or whatever sort of thing that someone will sell you on that is like passive, but like just invest it back into your skill sets of figuring out how to go from $100,000 to $200,000 in active income. How do you go from $200,000 active income to $300,000? A couple people in here make over $200,000. Kayla Irby, one of those people. Like, cool, right? Like, use your money to go back and figure out how to make 300,000 and 400,000. The allure of passive income is a farce. One of the questions this weekend that Tyler and Kellen asked us when we were in Sacramento was like, "Are you guys ever going to buy real estate again?" And it was a great question. It was like, okay, well, like when do you buy passive income? Like if your income, like at what point do you buy passive income? And I was like, you know what? We actually did buy some real estate this year, but it was because we have a tax problem. And so when it's time for you to buy passive income is when your active income creates a tax problem where you have to, but it by you buying passive income, it's not about the income that comes with it, it's about the tax savings that comes with it. And so I think if you want to know where the first point, it doesn't mean you have to do it this way because you don't have to do anything. You guys can do whatever you guys want. But I think logically, at the first point, it makes sense to actually start focusing on any sort of passive income is when your active income creates a problem. And the problem is you make too much money. That's when you start looking at passive income. And if you guys don't have any understanding what I'm talking about, it's okay. It just shows you need to make more money. Like just focus on making more money. It's a great indicator of like, go make more money. Okay.
Which is the lesson. Focus on active income.
Focus on active income. That's lesson number 10. Lesson number 11, Katie.
Become a hero.
Yeah. How many of you guys have heroes? How many of you guys have people like you look up to, that you aspire to be? Yeah. I look at my 16-year-old daughter. She constantly has like a new hero. It's Paige Beckers, who is a basketball player. Then it's some sort of volleyball player, and then it's an artist, right? It's an actor. It's actually a character from her book, right? She's got lots of heroes. And so like the question I would ask you guys is like these heroes that you guys have, like what do you like about them? What do you idolize about them? What do you aspire to be about these people, right? Is it their talents? Is it their looks? Is it how they make you feel? Right? And then I'll ask you a different question. What if instead of you just putting all this energy to learning about these people, researching these people, being on their social media, reading their books, consuming their stuff, what if you just became these people? Because I think that half this equation is good. It's like if someone's successful, it's like they did something to become successful. And I think that if everyone here believes that to be true and nobody got successful on accident, then we can believe that like someone became successful on purpose. And your job is not to idolize that they're currently successful, but it's to figure out how they became successful. What sacrifices they make, what challenges they overcome. Like learn about their story of how they got to where they got to and idolize those things. Idolize their inputs, idolize their dedication. Be obsessed with their work ethic. Because a lot of times what I've seen with successful people is that like they're excited to sacrifice. They see problems and challenges as opportunities, not burdens. And the reason that you guys, I highly recommend you guys becoming your own heroes is because like if you don't aspire to be like you, or if you wouldn't follow you, then like it's gonna make it very hard for others to follow you. And the only way that you're gonna be able to grow $1 million business is if you have other people who want to be like you, who want to work for you because like they see something in you that they want. They idolize you. And if you don't idolize yourself or you don't have anything worth giving, then like you're not going to have anybody follow you. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why most people don't grow is because they don't understand that like in order to grow in our business, like it can't just be you. Like it's not about you, it's about other people. And the reason why it's so important for me to share with you guys that like our businesses did $65,000 last week, it wasn't about Katie and I. It was about the Elias, the Keziahs, and the Kellens. And you know what? The 15 to 20 cleaners on each team, like they love the Elias, they love the Keziahs, they love the Kellens, like they respect them, they want to be like them. And the Elias, Keziahs, and the Kellens, like they want to be like Katie and I, right? There's a certain level of respect there. And the irony too, here's the cool part, guys, is like I actually want to be like those three people too. Like I have a lot of respect for them. Like I see things in them, like I want to be like them. There's a lot of things that they teach me. And so I think it's important for us to be our own heroes. Like be somebody worth following. And when you become aware of it, you have clarity on it, then like go be great. Go be great. And not just at one thing, but everything. Like be a great human. Be a great spouse, be a great parent, be a great peer, be a great boss. Like be great at everything. Like you don't have to choose that I can be great here and not here. Like you can be great everywhere. You just have to believe it's possible. Okay. And then last one, guys, we got one more here. Okay, what's lesson number 12?
Submit to the system.
Ooh, yeah. I say this one for last because it's probably the most difficult one to do, is just to submit. It's very hard, specifically for entrepreneurs, specifically, is just to let go of control. It's the very thing that got you into businesses that you wanted to control. So you left this environment that you felt like you were being controlled at to go start your own environment. And so this is why this is the hardest one. And this is honestly the reason that like our businesses actually grow really fast, is because the Keziahs and the Elias and even now the Kellens, like they do submit to the system. They're just like, I believe you. Just tell me what to do. And then we give advice and then they just do it. They don't always feel good. Doesn't always feel good, but they just do it. They submit.
Rarely does it feel good.
Rarely does it feel good. One of the reasons that Julia, also on here, is really good is because she does the same thing. She submits to the process. She doesn't feel good. Doesn't always want to do what the system says to do, but she does it anyway. And so it's the thing that probably stresses most people out, is like carrying this burden, this weight of like, I have to do this myself. And it's that very burden that keeps you from actually growing, of realizing that it doesn't have to be about you. And the very baseline of it is like, it doesn't have to be your process. It doesn't have to be your system. If you just submit to it and just let it go and just be like, okay, it's actually very freeing. And there's a level of stress that goes away that allows you to think clearly and not emotionally. That allows you to look at the logical math, not the emotional math. Right? It's really hard to find a system, guys, that works. It's really hard. Like I said earlier. And it's even harder to submit to the system. And I think one of the biggest reasons why that is because like everyone wants to get there faster, or believe that they can find a shortcut, that there has to be another way. It can't just be hard work. It can't just be effort. It can't just be reps. Like there's got to be a hack. There's got to be a thing, because I saw this one time, this one situation, the story that there was. And I think if we can just let go of that and just believe that like there is no skipping steps, but we can get there faster if we actually follow a tried and true system. It does allow us to get there. It allows us to get to our goals. And so what I've discovered specifically in the mentorship is that like when people are searching for these shortcuts, they're they're looking for these other ways. What they end up doing is they have this system and they modify the system. I call this getting cute. Some of you guys in the community have heard me say this before. Like, this is what I call getting cute. You're getting cute. You're changing the system. And the reason why I highly recommend you don't do that is because like you didn't see the hundreds of thousands of dollars that got put into the marketing funnels and the offers and the ad copy, right? You didn't hear the thousands of rejections on the phone calls that actually built the sales script and the cold call calculator, right? And the offers, right? You didn't experience 14 of 16 of your cleaners leaving all at one time. And to figure out how to recruit and hire and train and onboard somebody cleaners fast enough in order for you to be able to fulfill cleans. Like, you didn't have to go through that, right? You even failed at teaching 10 office staff how to actually sell, how to actually hire, right? How to actually produce revenue, how to become valuable. Like, that's all the things that built the leadership, right? Like, you guys didn't have to go through giving your spouse an ultimatum to either be all in or leave. Like, that's what created the 1-1 framework that everyone has access to. Like, you guys didn't get to experience the pain that built the system. And like, that's okay. Like, you don't need to wear pain like a badge of honor. Like, there's already enough pain that is involved in this process. Like, you don't need to go get more, right? There's no nobility in pain alone, but there is nobility in submitting to someone who's already sacrificed before you. So follow them, let them lead you, and understand this. All great leaders first started as great followers. Lesson number 12, Katie. Submit. It's one of the hardest ones. One of the hardest ones, especially for control freaks like entrepreneurs. But like, those are the ones who are the most successful. Everything that got you into this business is everything that will stop you from actually growing a $1 million business. Let's just be okay with the way things are. Not feeling like you need to control every piece of the equation. Yeah. Cool. Katie, we've been on a little bit longer here. Any final words of the 12 lessons in the last 12 years of entrepreneurship?
Maybe just let everybody know where they can find these. People were asking for the comments, so.
Yeah, you guys can find them inside the free home cleaning courses group. If you're not inside the mentorship, under the road to 1 million replays, you guys will see the recordings and honestly all the copy that goes with it as well, all the notes that we used for this call. And then if you guys are inside the home cleaning mentorship, then it'll be inside the road to 1 million replays inside there. Same thing. You'll have access to all the copy too, and all the lessons and all the work that went into creating this presentation today. So thank you guys for showing up today. Thank you guys for being in business, and thank you guys for giving us an opportunity to be able to help you guys out, whether you guys are in the free group or whether you guys inside the mentorship. Just thank you guys. Like, this is it's very rewarding, fulfilling for me specifically to be able to see you guys grow. I love seeing growth. I love seeing people go from 0 to whatever the number is, and I'd love to see you go from whatever that number is to the next number, and love to see you go to the next number. And I care less about what the number is, and I just care more about the growth. I care more about the fact that you continue to make progress. Yeah, that's what I care about. And I think that's in alignment with one of the lessons in here about the race pace, right? It's just, lesson number 6, if you're looking for the finish line, like, business isn't for you. Like, there is no finish line. We just got to figure out how do we continue getting better. And each level of growth, it requires another sacrifice. It requires another level of us growing our capacity of doing more, giving more. Like, again, like, I want you guys to put this in perspective. For 3 years, my first years in business, I didn't make more than $5,000 a month, which is less than $50,000 a year. If you'd have told that 25-year-old Logan that if you just be patient, if you just like stay in the game, brother, you'll eventually make $65,000 in a week, more than you made this year. Like, what do you think that kid's going to say? do you think 25-year-old Logan's going to say? He's like, no, there's no possible way. I've been spending, I can't make more than $5,000 a month for 3 years, brother. Like you said, you think that I'm going to make $65,000 in a week? He's just like, there's no way. Trust me, guys, it sounds just as silly to me now. Like as I go back on this, like, but if you just stay in the game long enough and like, you just keep figuring out how to serve, you keep figuring out how to give, you keep figuring out how to get better and how to grow. We'll be eventually be doing that in a day, and then we'll laugh about that in a week eventually. It's like that'll be $65,000 in a day. It's like that'll happen one day. Seems crazy. Like now I'm laughing at myself now, but like when it happens, I'll be like, shh, okay, I guess we did it. But I think it goes back to, it's like, what is this? This is probably lesson number 10. Lesson. Where's the hero one, Katie? Where's this one at?
11.
Lesson number 11, like be your own hero. Like, how many guys would be impressed with yourself if you guys can make $65,000 in a week? Would you be impressed with yourself? You'd be like, that's a cool person. Right? Or if you could do $65,000 in a day, you'd be like, that's a cool person. Right? Like, so go be that person. Go figure out how to be that person. What is that like? What does that person look like? What does that person prioritize? What does that person do? How does that person eat? How do they sleep? What do they do on a daily basis? Right? Where do they put their focus at? How do they spend their money? Right? How do they spend their free time? Like, become your own hero. Thank you guys. Happy freaking Monday. Yeah, we'll see you guys on here again next week, week number 94. And yeah, that's all I got. Katie, you got anything?
Late.
Oh, sorry. All right, guys, go back to work.
Bye.
Go back. See you guys later. Bye, guys.